Hey everyone, it's Mike with It's Pittsfield Tonight. I'm going to jump right into it, and I'm going to pick up with a story I've been talking about quite a bit over the last few weeks, and that's the Pittsfield concerned citizens over the cell tower. So those of you that are not totally familiar with the story, what happened was off of Holmes Road, up in the neighborhood commonly referred to as Shacktown, the Shacktown neighborhood, which is Oliver Street, Alma Street. And basically what happened, the people in that neighborhood woke up one morning to construction vehicles going through their neighborhood, and they were trying to figure out what's going on, what's this all about. And then they saw them clearing trees and going into the woods, and they were like, whoa, what's happening here? So they called their city councilor. The counselor didn't know what was happening. They called some at-large counselors. They didn't know what was happening. Finally, they find out a cell tower was going up. They were never informed of it or anything. That's how they found out when the construction vehicles were rolling through. It was done deceptively because they were putting in an illegal access road, which the city finally did stop that. Because the address that this was permitted under is 877 South Street. So they had to put an access road going all the way through the woods, up through that property from back off of South Street, all the way up near the water tower at the end of Alma. And what ended up happening, this group, the people in that neighborhood formed a group. They were trying to stop this. The tower ended up being constructed. It is live as far as I know. A few weeks ago, they put two petitions into the city council. One, to have the law changed, where the way it stands now, when a project like that goes up, the only people who need to be notified are people, land abutters and property abutters within 300 feet of a project. They want to have that changed to 1,600 feet for these commercial projects, which I'm all for, 100%, because we're starting to hear a lot of these type of projects, whether they be solar fields or cell towers or grow facilities. There's people seeing construction and big projects going on right near their homes, and they knew nothing about it. So really, it's a matter of communication and transparency and knowing what's happening. And I believe everyone has the right to that. So their petition was to change it to 1,600 feet, and any property owners within 1,600 feet of a potential commercial project would have to be notified via certified mail. So I'm all for that. And I believe that got referred to ordinance and rules, or rules and ordinance, and that's still, I don't think that's been finalized yet. The second petition they put forward was for a re-permitting of this tower, because they're saying, look, this wasn't fair. This wasn't fair. Nobody was notified in that neighborhood. It was a deceptive address, a South Street address, when it's right there off the back of Holmes Road. In fact, you can see the tower from Arrowhead, Herman Melville's place. And the director of Arrowhead, the Herman Melville estate, was against this. Everybody was against this in that area. And the main reason was nobody informed them at all that this was happening. So that got referred back to the mayor, and then it was referred to the ZBA, the Zoning Board of Appeals. I believe it was yesterday when they met, and the group, the Stop the Cell Tower group, was hoping finally to hear from the mayor. But she didn't go, she didn't show. I talked to a few of these people, and I didn't want to discourage them, but I knew the mayor wasn't going to communicate with them. That's really not her thing. But they didn't hear from her, and instead the city's attorney just read the judge's ruling on that, and that's where it stands. So I'm going to do a follow-up with them and see what their next move is and what's happening here and where to go from there for them, because I feel so bad for those people. I feel bad that any kind of project like this can be done and without anybody being notified. And why shouldn't they be? Would you want anything like that happen in your neighborhood and you know nothing about it? It's not just a matter of a cell tower. It's the fact that they had no right to find out there was major construction going on in their neighborhood. It goes back to the lack of communication and the lack of transparency from City Hall. So I will follow up with them. The second thing I want to bring up is what is happening with our cafeteria workers. Now, I did hear a little bit of a follow-up on Channel 10, ABC 10, last night. And Channel 10 seems to be the best TV station for our area right now. They do pretty good coverage for Pittsfield. And Channel 10 interviewed Jason McCandless. Jake McCandless is our superintendent of schools for now. He did choice out himself. I think he's going to Monument, but he right now he is still the superintendent. So like many of our students, again, he did choice out, and we'll be losing him soon. He accepted another position at Monument, but he, during this interview, said that, and this was odd to me, the way he kind of worded it, but he said that the school cafeterias are kind of like private restaurants, and the cafeteria workers are paid through, I guess, the sale of those meals. And he said it's just not in the budget right now. Look, this is why we really need to support these cafeteria workers. During the pandemic, the whole time, they were working. They were told, we need these grab-and-go meals because, 50% of our students in the Pittsfield public school systems are in poverty, and this is important for them to have access to nutritional meals. These meals are important to them. It's not just a matter of being at school and needing something to eat. This is a lifeline to them. So it's that important. So these cafeteria workers, in the height of the pandemic, when people were afraid to leave their houses, when we didn't know what was going on, they sacrificed themselves and risked their own health, their families' healths, by going and doing this work. They didn't have any PPE provided to them or anything. They went in there and risked themselves to make sure that the city's children had the nutritional meals that they needed. And this is the payback they get for that, is to be laid off. Many of them work below the state minimum wage. And a few people did ask me, how's that possible? From my understanding, public school systems have to adhere to federal law, not state. And federal minimum wage, believe it or not, is $7.25. So a lot of these cafeteria workers are making below the Massachusetts $13 an hour, and they're making like 12 and change, I believe. So they're working below minimum wage, quite a few of them. But anyway, we need to support them. We need to. I mean, they put themselves at risk to be there. And I get some people are saying, well, hey, if the students aren't there, you can't have them. You have to lay them off. I feel bad for them. But no, this is what's happening. They're saying they don't have it in the budget. They still need those grab-and-go meals. So they're trying to keep some of the staff and asking that staff that they're keeping to do double the work that they used to for the same amount of pay, and then get rid of these other women who were there doing this work. It's not a situation like where you have a business closing and it's not going to reopen. Of course you have to lay people off. We're going to need them. Everyone's trying to figure out how to get these schools reopened as soon as possible. To do this to these women, that many of them would have a heart. They work, some of them, 2 and 3 jobs. So to try to get unemployment when you're already working other jobs, that's very difficult. And their health insurance, you're going to do that to them in the middle of a pandemic? Knowing that as soon we're going to have them back in the schools. So a lot of them have said, look, we'll help sterilize the buildings. We'll do bus monitor positions. Can you find other work for us? They want to work for the sake of keeping morale up, for a way of saying thank you for what they did throughout the whole season to make sure that these children had the meals they needed. We owe that to them. When you see the mayor get a raise and the superintendent get a raise and other staff members get, people who are making big money, the mayor over $100,000 a year, and the superintendent $169,000 a year, and big money. And then you're talking about women, we're going to cut them, some of them are working below the state minimum wage, and they're still willing to do this. That's why this is wrong. And that's why we need to be there for them. They were there for the city, and we need to be there for them. I mean, we gave a couple $1 million in debt that we forgave to a movie theater. You know, we've thrown money around on foolish things. This is not a foolish thing at all. And there is money to take care of them, and we can find it in the budget. And I'm sure even the majority of the taxpayers would be okay of taking this money out of the free cash account to supplement some of these women, if that's what we have to do, for what they were willing to do for the children of this city, especially when we take money and we throw it away on foolish things. And we've done plenty of that in the past. So that's my opinion on that. But I'm going to follow up with them and find out what's going on with that also. Another thing I want to bring up is I just found it kind of interesting that PCTV, Pittsfield Community Television, gave Linda Tyre an award. I'm sorry. They gave her an award for her videos that she did on Fridays. I was shocked to see that. And then she gave this big thank you post where she wanted to thank everybody. She wanted to thank the Academy and thank everybody or whatever. I was shocked by that. So anyways, we're going to do an award here at It's Pittsfield Tonight. And I'm honored to find out that It's Pittsfield Tonight has chosen me to receive a variety of awards. So I'll be covering that later. We're going to have our own little award ceremony. And maybe I can call up the city and they'll let me borrow the red carpet from our red carpet team. And we'll make it real official. So anyway, I had to mention that because our politicians here they love themselves. They really do. They think they're like celebrities, not public servants. It's awards and thank yous and oh my God, it's a little disturbing that we're in that era of celebrity politicians. They're like the new rock stars, at least in their minds. So it was worth a mention anyway. So anyway, support your cafeteria workers. That's why that's important. Support the cell tower group. Look, even if you don't feel like the cell tower itself is a big issue, think about a commercial project going up in your neighborhood and you had no insight on it, no warning, no nothing. You would want the community to come forward for you too. And that's what this is really about. So make sure you support them. Another thing I'm going to get back on that I'm very passionate about is those in our city that are living in homelessness. And every now and then I'll throw a post out with like one of our city's blighted properties. And I've mentioned over and over on some of these that, like the last one, the Patrica building on Merrill Road, if any of you saw that post, where I mentioned maybe this would be a good location for a facility to house some of those in homelessness. And I don't know the specifics on that property. Somebody messaged me and said that they believed it was a brownfield, meaning it was contaminated from GE. I'm not so sure on that either. It's possible, but the reason I'm not sure on that is because Patrica built that, I believe, in the 60s. So it would have to be prior to that, in the 40s or 50s, that GE could have done something with that property. I don't know if that's the case or not, but it's really a matter of keeping that out in the public. Because, yes, the First United Methodist Church is going to house some people there, and the church are good people, but it'll be ServiceNet running that. I still feel like ServiceNet has a lot of questions that they need to answer. They're a massive organization that averages somewhere between $65 and $70 million a year in revenue that they bring in. So, I want to see more. If we're going to contract and work with a company that big, I want to see more. I want to see more than just an overnight shelter and out you go at 8 in the morning. we need to get people into treatment, whether it be mental health treatment, substance abuse treatment. That's a big part of that problem. And then we also need to make sure for those who just simply need housing and job assistance with getting a job, that we have the adequate counselors and adequate means to assist that. And an overnight shelter, yeah, we do need that. We're coming into cold weather very soon, so that's going to be crucial. But I think we can do better than that. And, you know, another thing with these properties, every now and then I've caught in a lot of heat for showing some of the blighted properties. That's one of them. I've done that one a couple times over the past couple years. There's so many in Pittsfield. You have like the Debbie Wong, which is on a main street, and that is just things growing through it. If I was working for the city, why not work with the listing agents or the brokers who are representing those properties, or the property owner, if that's who's doing it, and put that under your red carpet team or whatever, and have a section on the website listing these and start marketing them to potential investors. I can't believe we don't do things like that. We're so out of touch and outdated when it comes to using today's technology to market the city and market properties and market to investors and how we should be marketing our community. And, you know, if there are things being done, then it's hush-hush, secret, behind-the-scenes stuff without the taxpayers ever knowing anything. And that's wrong. So, you know, there's a reason I show those properties. It's not to be negative. It's to keep it in the forefront. We need to keep pressure on people. So I had to mention that. So that is it for now. And I'll try to do another video tomorrow. If not tomorrow, what is tomorrow? Thursday. If not tomorrow, Friday, I will. Fridays traditionally are the worst day to do videos on social media. But we're going to have the It's Pittsfield Tonight award ceremony for all the awards I'm going to receive. So I'm really excited about that. So stay tuned for that. It'll be an exciting award presentation. I don't know if I'll have the same honor as the mayor, but maybe. We'll find out. So, all right, that's it for now. Everyone enjoy the warm weather. It's kind of like our Indian summer right now, so get out and enjoy it if you can, and I'll catch y'all on Friday.